Are you looking for peace? Well, let me guide you. One place you can find some peace is if you're joining us with the Create Your Victory Channel journal, if you've been walking through this, you could flip back through the pages. We're about halfway through this journal. You can flip back through the pages and find some of the goodness that you've already captured. Look at some of the prompts and see what goodness God has already shown you. That should bring you joy and peace. But if you're looking for some peace specifically today, dive into today's prompt. It can be found on page 166 and it reads, He has plans for me. That should bring you peace. He has plans for you. See, we think we have to have it all figured out. We have to plan everything to a T. It's just kind of a natural thing, I think, for some of us to want to plan. Now, some people are completely spontaneous. They don't ever plan anything, and that's fine. Some of us are planners. My husband just called today, no joke, with vacation dates for 14 months from now. He knows when we're checking in, when we're checking out, where we're going, all of it. 14 months out. That's planner. I'm a planner too. I do like to plan, but I have also learned to surrender my plans to God. Why? Because His plans are so much better than mine. So much better. I'll give you a couple examples, things that I wrote down in my Victory Channel. When I was first prompted to start writing, I had a couple books in mind. In fact, I submitted 2 manuscripts to publishers. That's what my first instinct was, to write 2 different books. Now I'm publishing and releasing book number 9. Let's see. This one comes first. This will be Friday. And then this comes out on next Tuesday. So 2 books in this month in June, 9 total so far, with a backlist of over 80. So His plans are way better. I never thought I would be writing 80 books. I am not a reader. I read now, but as a kid, I was not a reader or necessarily a writer. Like, I did enjoy English class. I did enjoy writing essays, but I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to be an author someday. Like, that never crossed my mind. I did not like to read fiction, and that's mainly what they forced you to read in school. So I didn't read a book by choice until I was 19 years old. If you would have told me when I was 19, you're going to be an author someday, you're going to publish 9 books, and you're going to have a backlist of over 80 books to write, I would have laughed at you and thought, what are you doing? There's no way. I don't know that's somebody else's dream. It's not my dream, because it wasn't my dream. It certainly wasn't even my dream when I was called to write. I had 2 books. That was it. That was the extent of where I thought this was going. But God, He said, I want you to keep going. I want you to tell this story. I want you to show up this way and tell this story and write it this way so people understand it this way and that way. And it's pretty awesome, all the things that He's showing me and how they're coming together. I would have never in my wildest dreams thought I would have a series of books, much less now I'm working on the 3rd series of books, and I have 9 series coming still. I would have never thought that. But God, His plans are better. He had a plan the whole time. He's like, once you figure this out, I'm going to help you do these things, but you have to get to this point first. And that's through trust and faith. I trusted Him with the first book. Thank goodness I surrendered that and trusted Him with it. And through that, all of the other things fell into place. Now, His plans don't always look like we thought they would look. They don't always feel that way, how we think they're going to look, when He guides us a certain way. I'll share a quick story. I do share this in one of my books, but He, at one point, prompted me to start a t-shirt company, and I was all in. I thought, yes, this is a great idea. It's based on Luke 2:11, I believe, is the scripture. If a man has 2 shirts, he should give one to the poor. The name of my company was 2 Shirts, and for every shirt we sold, we gave one to someone in need, similar to Tom's shoes. And I was rocking and rolling, and we were doing it and selling t-shirts and giving t-shirts away, and it was amazing. It was awesome. And then all of a sudden, it was like out of nowhere, He just said, stop what you're doing. This is no longer the plan. Like, you were obedient. You did what I told you to do. Now you're moving on to the next thing. And I was like, but wait, I just ordered all of this inventory, but wait, I just did this, that, and the other, right? I took matters into my own hands. I tried to make plans. Sounds like Sarah in the Bible, trying to make her own plans, giving her husband, her maiden or slave to, what is the, I can't think of the name for her. I can't think of Hagar's name, or her title, if you will, and her servant, their servant, giving Abraham's Hagar, basically. She took matters into her own hands. Now, was it a good idea? No. Neither was me ordering all that inventory. No. If I would have been obedient to God and listened and leaned in through the whole process, not just the start, I would have seen his plan through, and I would not have ended up with t-shirts that I didn't need. Because he was changing my direction. He was like, okay, I was testing your obedience and you did this and this happened and you've learned this, this, and this. And now it's time to move on to what I'm really calling you to do, which is writing books. So I want to encourage you that his plans don't always look like you think they're going to. Just like, go back to Abraham again. He was called to sacrifice Isaac. He was all the way there about to sacrifice Isaac. And then the angel of the Lord said, hey, wait, nope, not really. Psych. We are just testing your obedience. A lot of times that's what God's doing, is just testing our obedience. But we have to be obedient. We have to take the steps. We have to show up. And when we do that, we will see his plans and we will understand his plans and his ways. Imagine if Abraham hadn't been obedient. Imagine if, when you just stop for a moment and think about the last time you were obedient to something God was calling you to, imagine if you weren't. It's kind of a weird thing to imagine, but I can tell you from experience that not being obedient, okay, that was one example with the t-shirt company. I can give you another example in my writing career. When I wasn't obedient, I was floundering around and wasn't trusting God with the outcome. I was trying to figure it all out on my own. Again, not trusting his plans, trying to figure out my own plans. And he put me in bed for 30 days with Lyme disease and said, stop what you're doing and listen to me. And his plans were greater. They always are. I don't know why we think ours are. I don't know why our little ego thinks it can be God and tries to talk us into making our own plans. We should never. So I want to encourage you that his plans are better. He has plans for you. Trust his plans for you. Lean into them. Take it step by step, day by day, moment by moment. Don't get ahead of him. And you will be amazed at what he shows you and how he walks you through it. I actually tell a little bit more of this story, or the story of obedience, in A Moved Soul, the book coming out next Tuesday. Dive into it. Grab a copy of it. You'll be probably as shocked as I was to the call on my life in this book. And then I walk you through exactly my response and my questions and my wondering, is this really happening, God? Are you really asking me to do this or not? And each step along the way, how I answered and responded. So I hope that you'll grab a copy. It's already #1 in a couple categories, so I'm really excited about that. During pre-sales, I can't imagine what it's going to do, what God's going to do with it overall, but I hope it's an encouragement to you to be obedient, trust God, even in the wild and crazy things he may ask of you, because you never know what he's going to do with it. His plans are greater. They really are.